Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Beta Project with me, DeMarcus Tunstall. You can always find me on YouTube at Humble and Focus. All one word. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Today is August 26, 2019, and it's still the Disney edition. I apologize that I did not finish the Disney edition, but I'm going to knock it out this week. Today's video, though, is defining thoughts. And so we're going to go into it. So today's quote is, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and you know what you want. And that's by Lau LT. There you go. That's better. So before I reveal to you what video it's going to be or what movie is based on, can you think about what video I'm going to be talking about? With defining thoughts and this quote of, at the center of your being, you know you have the answer. You know who you are and who you want to be, or what you want. Anybody have an idea? Aladdin. Good old Aladdin. Cartoon style Aladdin, not Will Smith style Aladdin. Don't understand. I mean, I understand. I love the Will Smith character from the new Aladdin. I absolutely love how he portrayed him. But this is about the old school Aladdin, and you know, most of the story's the same, but there's some pieces out that old school Aladdin that really kind of resonate with me because I mean I grew up on it. So we're going to be utilizing this as our base, this Aladdin character. So you guys, let's get started. How are you? My name is DeMarcus. I'm here for the motivating of you. So Aladdin, ladies and gentlemen, Aladdin is a great story. It's a lot of action and a lot of this and a lot of that, but there's some undertones of things that we probably missed as kids, and I want to go into that just like the other videos before. We did, who have we done? We've done two videos. We did Hakuna Matata, Lion King, running from your problems never solves them, and we did Frozen, about the creation, you know, what you think you create. So this is almost like that, you know, almost along those lines, but it's a little bit different. In the beginning of Aladdin, they go to Aladdin in the city, and you know he's stealing his food. He's running, and he's like one jump ahead of the bread line, right? In that beginning of that part of the movie, there's a lot that's going on that explains who Aladdin is and why he's doing what he's doing. And that's what I want to talk about because it's about defining thoughts. As he's running through that city, they're calling him street rat. They're like this one lady, he jumps through there. She goes, I blame parents except he hasn't got them. I mean, try to hit the man with a broom. So the people of the city view Aladdin as this low life being of garbage. You know, she tried to hit this man with a broom and knock him out a window. That's how much she does not like him. And there's other people who know who he is, and they call him by name, and they call him street rat, and they know exactly when they see him what kind of trouble comes with him. And it goes to the fact that, you know, in the beginning of the movie also, Jafar's trying to find the diamond in the rough. Okay, there's a diamond in the rough. So I want to get into the Cave of Wonders, and he finds Aladdin, and he's like, oh, that's the diamond in the rough. So Jafar knew that he was a diamond in the rough. And then there was a part in the middle of the movie where Genie's like, tell her the truth. Tell her the truth. And he's like, oh man, I want to be a prince though. I want to marry her, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like at the beginning of the movie, Aladdin has been programmed, his thoughts have been programmed for him to think about himself a certain way. And the reason I know this is because he calls himself, he says, I'm not a street rat. Oh, the guy even tries to hit him with a whip. He's trying to block the kids. He's like, you're born a street rat, you'll die a street rat, and only your fleas will mourn you. That's what he said, right? And so when it came down to it, and he had his first wish, he didn't wish not to be hungry anymore. He didn't wish not to be on the streets anymore. He didn't wish he was giving away his food to kids. He didn't wish all the kids were not hungry anymore. He wished to be a prince. That was his mindset. He was going after the girl. He had to be a prince. And so I want to read this part to you in one of my favorite books, The Magic of Thinking Big. And it says, and I can go more into this, I'm trying not to give too much away. So it says, if a man feels inferior, he acts that way. And no veneer of cover-up or bluff will hide this basic feeling for long. The person who feels like he isn't enough or isn't important isn't. On the other side, a fellow who really thinks he's equal to the task is. To be important, we must think we are important. Really think so. Then others will think so too. Here is the logic. How you think determines how you act. How you act in terms determines how others react to you. So the reason I wanted to read that quote is because Aladdin at the beginning of the movie was acting like a street rat. I guarantee you, since he was a kid growing up, he didn't have parents, yada yada, he made it on the streets, he survived, nobody took him in. He was acting as if he was trying to survive like a street rat. And so the people in there treated him like a street rat. Later on in the movie, he starts wanting to act like a prince, and so the higher classes treat him kind of princely. We'll say kinda, but we're not going to go into why. But that he changed his clothes, he put his shoulders back. He wasn't really acting like a prince, but he was acting like what he thought a prince should act like. That's what he had to be. He had to be up here. Hi, I'm Prince Ali Ababa. He had to think that he was a prince, and he had to get the clothes like he was a prince. But everybody, Jafar knew he had internal power. Genie knew he had enough power. But because he's been programmed for so long as a child to be less than and told he was less than, he couldn't understand the fact that he was already enough for Jasmine because he didn't have the title that he was looking for. You are what you think you are. If your appearance makes you think you are inferior, then you are inferior. If it makes you think you're small, you're small. Look your best and you will think and act your best. And that's what Aladdin was doing. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, he already had it inside of him. Aladdin, before he became that prince, and they put the veneer on him, and Genie put all the, he's got a monkeys. We see the monkey, he got all that stuff, right? Before that even happens, Genie never changed the inside of Aladdin. He only changed the outside, right? Which means that Aladdin was actually a prince this whole time. This whole time, Aladdin was actually already a prince. He just did not see himself that way because his outsides are one of a street rat. So he knew the only way for me to get this girl, or the only way to get what I need in life is to become a prince. But he was already a prince. Ladies and gentlemen, people in your life are going to consistently put you down and tell you you're not worth it. You don't believe me? Just watch one jump overhead of the breadline, or what is it called? Yeah, one jump. The beginning of Aladdin, that first song, and listen to how they talk this guy. And it's like they know him so well that they are just calling him all the names. They're like, rip him open, take it back, guys. All this stuff he did not think he was because no one had ever said it to him before. Even when Genie was like, dude, all you gotta do is tell the truth. You got this. He was like, no, I'm not enough, Genie. I need you a little longer. Sorry, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, inside of you lies your prince or your princess. Inside of you lies everything you ever need. But the thing is, if you believe everything that everybody outside of you says, then you'll never be what you're supposed to be. Yeah, you might be somewhat successful, but you will never be your level of success that you're supposed to be. You might go and say that, yeah, you're enough at this level, but you might miss 4, 5, 6, 7 10 different levels that you have not even hit yet, that you will not ever hit because of the fact that inside of you, you don't think you're enough. If you don't think you're enough, ladies and gentlemen, how do you expect to be? The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha. Do you think that Aladdin was thinking himself to be a prince? No. Aladdin was thinking himself as being a street rat. Whether he knows it or not, and whether he felt like I'm not a street rat, I'm not. But bro, you over here acting like a street rat. It really kind of gets me, like people who say I'm not this, but they're acting the exact same way. Like, I'm sorry, I gotta say this. So people who say I'm not a hoe, excuse my French, or I'm not promiscuous, but yet they're acting promiscuously. They think that just because they say it out loud to somebody else, that it defines, okay, I said it out loud. I'm not a street rat. Well, I'm not a freak, whatever. By saying these words, it says nothing to the character. You're trying to get somebody, you're convincing somebody that you're not a street rat. But you're acting street ratish. You're acting like a freak. You're acting like a promiscuous person of nature. You're acting like you're saying all these things, but you're only utilizing your words to tell the people. How do I know? Because you're saying them out loud to other people. What are you telling yourself on the inside? Or are you telling yourself on the inside anything? Or when people try to confront the character that you're presenting right in front of you without your integrity going, we're not going to talk about integrity, but that's a big word. Without that integrity moving, are you actually giving what you say you are, or are you just saying it out loud just so you want people to think of you differently? Aladdin was acting like a street rat saying he wasn't a street rat. But I'm sorry, Aladdin, your mind is everything. What you think you become. You don't believe me? Let's go to this last, the one we did. The center of your being, you have the answer. You know what you are and who you want and everything else in between. And then there's this last quote right here. What you think, you become. You think you're a freak, then you're going to be a freak. If you think you're a street rat, you're going to be a street rat. If you thought yourself a prince, even though you didn't have the clothes of a prince, then you would be a prince. Because you think what you become. Sorry, what you think you become. Your thoughts create you. The thoughts of Aladdin, no one had ever told him he was worth something. So he didn't believe he was. So he thought the only way for him to be worth something is the people that he saw in the palace that were worth something, and they had different clothes and had all the horses and the monkeys and the camels and the elephants. That's what he saw. So he knew the only way he could have value in his life is to get the stuff that everybody else saw, or that everybody else had that he saw. But that's not the case, because he wasn't thinking like he was enough when he already was always enough. All they did was change the outside. They changed the outside, he started acting differently. Hold on. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm a prince now. I'm the same guy. I just got a scarf on. So what you do, you are. He did street rat things. He was a street rat at the beginning. And if he had done princely things, how different would the movie have been if he was consistently acting a man of character integrity to the point where he wasn't stealing, but he was creating more? Like, they put Aladdin in this desolate community where everything's already bad, but in all reality, he never acted like anything more than a street rat. He always stole. But what if he was, instead, he decided to get himself a storefront and pull himself up by the bootstraps and create? But he didn't think that way. Because what you do, you are. And how you think, you become. So your thoughts create you, but his thoughts were never to create something of his own because he never thought he was enough to do so. Your actions define you. He did street rat actions, he was a street rat. If you want to be promiscuous, you will be, your actions are going to define you. That's how people will define you. If you want to be seen as more, change your actions in your world. But it takes more than just one day to change those actions, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take time and build. Me being in front of you, when I first started, people used to laugh at me. Why? Because they thought it was a joke. They thought it was a game. And because that was who I wasn't thinking like a man. I wasn't thinking at first like this, so I couldn't become this. But then I started changing my thinking now, and then I became something more. And then all of a sudden I started using my thoughts to create who I am now, and then I started doing things differently, and then now I looked at it as a different person. Now, why is that a big deal? Because I was not doing it at first, but I had to change all my actions. Once Aladdin got the clothes on, his actions changed. Then he started acting like the person he was inside, but he thought the clothes created that, but it wasn't. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to think about is that you, like I'm gonna say it to you again, you have a prince or a princess inside of you. Right now, you are enough. You can create and be anything you choose and want to be. The only difference is you have to believe it. Even if your world's not showing it, even if you're broke as all get out, you must believe you're rich and start acting like you're rich to become rich. It's a thought process, ladies and gentlemen. You must think it here for it to come out here. What you think, you become. If you think you're broke, then you're broke. That's why I tell my friends, don't say you're broke. Don't say you're old. Don't say I'm hurt. Don't say any of that. What you say is, I'm building my wealth. Or, yeah, I wouldn't, or I'm not, or my body feels great. My body's hurting. The first thing I start saying is I go, man, I feel great. I feel amazing. I'm not even hurt. I feel fine. Why? Because my brain needs to know I do. And all of a sudden, I don't remember why I was hurting. And then you guys are like, oh, that doesn't work. I'm telling you it does. It's your mind. Your mind creates everything. You are a mind. You are just a bunch of input that comes in and you give it output. What you think, you become. Your thoughts create you, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to think more than what you are right now. What you do, you are. If you're doing broke things, you're going to end up being broke. It's as simple as that. But people who want more in life, more money, they want better relationships, they want better this, better that, or they want to be street rats, are going to do those things. That's why I can tell you right now, if you pay attention to how a person consistently acts, you can tell who they are. Because what you do, you are. So I'm watching what you're doing and I'm telling you what you are. I can see it. Not that I have the permission or the right to tell you who you are. That's not what I'm saying. But I can tell when a man has integrity if he's stealing. Aladdin had no integrity. You might say he was trying to feed himself. I get that. But in all reality, ladies and gentlemen, there was other options for Aladdin to do something else. He's athletic as all get out. You're telling me with all that athleticism that he had and that monkey that he had, he couldn't have put on a street show and made money from everybody the right way? That's not the way he chose to do things, because his mind wasn't there. He couldn't become it because he couldn't think it. He only thought himself a street rat. Your actions define you, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, like I said, it's as simple as that. Everybody knew, at least the two big heroes or two people in this movie knew he was a street rat. The genie, knew he wasn't a street rat. The genie and Jafar, they knew he was more. But Jafar knew he was so much more that he knew he had to get rid of this man after he got him into the cave. Just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you have a purpose. You are amazing, you're awesome, you have a prince and a princess inside of you. But you're going to have to step up and find them. You're going to have to step up and say, I'm more than this. You're going to have to act differently. If you want to be fit, you got to act like a fit person acts. You don't act like a fat person acts. And you're not fat, you have fat. You get what I'm saying? But you have to be to become. You have to think to become. And most people are not thinking their true thoughts. They're just going around complaining. But guess what? As you complain, I'm going to show you how this works. When you complain, you're actually thinking. Because the only way for you to say it out loud is to have the thought. So that's why when people tell you, when I have friends, I tell them, like, hey, don't say that. Because what you're doing is, if you're starting to complain, you have to think the thought to complain, and you become that thought. Which means that in actuality, what you think you become. So if you start complaining, you're actually just saying, I want more of that thing. That came from, oh man, that's one of my favorite. The Secret by Earl Nightingale. The Strangest Secret. And he talks about it. He's like, when you complain, you're literally telling your body you want more of this, or your life you want more of this. So like, okay, get to work. You remember before I was talking about the two foremen, the positive foreman and the negative foreman, and what you think you get? When you start thinking negatively, they give you more. He's like, oh, that's a negative thought. Guys, go to work, make negative thoughts. But when you think positively about your situation, same situation, you think positively about it, Mr. Positivity comes in and he solves it for you. What you think, you become. So think positive thoughts, even in the worst times. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to create anything bad. I want you to be the best. And just like I would tell Aladdin if he was like, bro, you gotta act like a prince, even if you're not a prince right now, and you'll become a prince later. It's not the outside of you. Because Aladdin, the only way he actually got Jasmine's attention and affection, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, is he acted like a prince. He was selfless instead of selfish. And that's a whole different ballgame. But I hope you guys have a great Monday. I believe and I love in each and every one of you. You are not street rats. You're not promiscuous. You are not overweight. You are not dumb. You are not lazy. You are what you think you are. And I think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And I love sliced bread. You know, if you don't believe me, let's go to a pasta house and I'll show you. Let's go to O'Charlie's or to Texas Roadhouse. But you're great, you're amazing, but you have to believe you are, and you gotta act like you are long before you receive it. You don't believe me? Last thing I can say to you real quick, when a child believes or wants to be something when they grow up and they truly want to believe it, they start acting like that as a child. And next thing you know, they've acted like a police officer as a child. They've always wanted to be a police officer. And guess what they become? They become a police officer. They want to be a teacher, they become a teacher. All these things that the children are thinking, they're playing consistently over and over again. They're programming their mind to get that later on in life. It's just time for you to do the same thing. It's time to change your programming. These defining thoughts will always be there. You are what you think you are. You will become what you think. Your thoughts create you. I'll talk to you soon. Happy Monday. I believe and I love in each and every one of you. Just because I didn't say it, I'll say it again. I do not mind. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a blessed